Everything you just heard are sounds taken from everyday life, sounds that I've often recorded here in Brussels. And what I've done with these sound recordings is I've taken little slices, little grains of these sounds and stretched them out and compressed them and layered them together to become new sounds and new instruments. I'll give you an example. Towards the end, I was playing this instrument. This is actually made up of the sound, a sound that you can find in this building in which we're in today, and it's the sound of a lift just behind this auditorium, and when it moves between the floors, it makes a sound like this. A lovely sound, as you can hear. And this is from a time when I used to work in this building as an architect up on the third floor. And a little bit like the gentleman that you see in this picture, I felt like I was on the edge of something, like I had to change some things in my life, and not only this squeaky lift. And as somebody once said, if you don't design your own life, somebody else will for you. So I became a full-time musician and a visual artist. Going a little bit back in time, a little bit further, back to a time when my favorite sound was that of a siren, and when it passes you by, you get this Doppler effect and the pitch changes. A sound which I've somewhat fallen out of love with after having lived in Brussels for a few years. Although that said, you can still... You can still do interesting things with that sound. But it was the moment that I discovered synthesizers and samplers and these boxes into which you can put sound and get it out again and change it in so many different ways that my mind was truly blown. I mean, my mind's a little bit blown by the size of my shirt back in those days, but it was the 90s, right? And the kind of thing which which amazed me then and still fascinates me now is what you can do with relatively modest means. And I'll give you another example. There's a sound which I hear regularly. I even heard it this morning outside my home, and it's that of the moment that the bin lorry, the rubbish truck, gets stuck behind the erratically parked cars of my neighbors. And you get a sound like this. And what I've done is I've taken this sound and turned it into this instrument. I'm going to take you on a little tour of Brussels and show you and let you hear a couple of sounds from those same places. This is close to where I used to live. It's close to Manneke Pis, and the sound I have from there is this one. And this is actually made up of the sound of the church bells of the church that you can see in the picture, and they usually sound like this. If I go to Chapelle or Kapellekerk train station, the sound that I have from there is this one. That's the sound of a train leaving the station, recorded inside the train. I know it sounds like a spaceship, but it really is a Belgian train. So what I've been doing is I've been making soundtracks, making music from everyday life. And in the meantime, I've been taking pictures, making videos, publishing my work in various different ways, including making postcards. And all the while, I'm wondering, are these things connected in any way? Is there some red thread which runs through them? And recently I started to realize that not only are they all, of course, from my own experiences and so connected to things that I've either felt or seen or memories that I have from those, but they're also much inspired by a place, this one, and are little fragments, little moments in time which have become other things. And when I finished my first album of music, made in this way of taking these sounds and recycling them and turning them into new things, I asked myself, can you put this into something which you can hold in your hand, something tangible? And this in a time when physical media connected to music almost doesn't really exist anymore. CDs and tapes and mini discs, they're going or already gone. So I started sending these postcards I've been making for some years anyway to the people who buy and support my music. And on the postcard is a code and a link so they can download it or listen to it wherever they are. But also a message from me to them about the music that I'm sending them. So in this way, every time I send one, it's to a different person. It goes through different postal services. It has its own story, and each one is unique. But the thing that I really want to leave you with today is, I think there's so much inspiration to be found in the everyday, in things that appear quite normal. I think that things that exist in our ordinary present and past can actually have extraordinary futures in all sorts of different ways. I'd like to leave you with one more sound, a soundtrack that woke me up very early one morning, and as any normal person would do, I went outside at 5 o'clock and recorded it. I'm going to let you guess what it is. And while I leave you with that sound, I'd also like to leave you with a postcard. Well, some of you, because before you stand up, if you reach underneath your chairs, some of you will find a postcard from me to you with some music and a message about it from me. If you don't find one, come and find me later and I'll write you a new one. These are my postcards and soundtracks. Thank you.